This is our weekly training all about the Genius, which is a quantum biofeedback application, which is one of the most important things to have with you, one of the most valuable things to have with you during this time. What's going on in your biofield? What can we learn about what's going on in the world? What kind of exposures are we seeing? What type of vitamin deficiencies? What type of toxicity? You can learn all about those things with your Genius biofeedback system. Everybody should have one in every single family. It is easy to learn, and that's actually our topic for today. We wanted to talk about 3 easy ways to get started with your Genius biofeedback system. So I'm open to your questions, so please send your questions in the chat. What things do you need to know? And you're thinking of sending us questions via our support email. Think of bringing those questions over to us in class. So class is the best place to ask these questions so that we can help you and that we can find topics that are of interest to you and really assist you in your Genius practice. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here, and thank you for doing what you do for others. We know some of you are amazing practitioners, and you bring so much to the table with what you give to people daily. Really just running the frequencies of the Genius, just finding the reds and blues for yourself or for other people does a huge service. And it is amazing the miracles and things that happen with the Genius every single day. Our website is geniusbiofeedback.com. And if you go there, you can go to our learn menu at geniusbiofeedback.com. What you need to know about that is if you ever need to install the Genius again on your device, you may want to bookmark the page that I'm going to show to you in just a moment. And that is our Genius reinstall links page. So you may want to bookmark this particular page. It tells you all about the different links that you can get to. Let's go ahead and find that and give that to you. So maybe bookmark that. That will always allow you to be able to download the Genius again, like when you get a new phone, things like that. So we're going to go over the Genius today. We have a lot to share with you. And if you want to put your questions into the chat, this is a great time to do that. Here's our Apple link. Here's our Android link. You can see the other apps that we have right here if you need to download them. And let's also go to the blog. So the blog is another great resource that you'll want to check on a regular basis to see what have we been doing? What have we been up to? What new handouts, tutorials, resources have we come up with for you? So the blog is a great place to find that, as well as past videos. So today we're talking about 3 basic processes, 3 easy ways to get started. What I really want to do with the Genius, because it is such an amazing tool, because it is so incredible, because it helps so many people, the one thing that really does affect what we're doing that's unfortunate is that people have a steep learning curve. And I'm always very saddened to anybody who says that they can't understand how to use the Genius. So we want to make it as easy as possible. So I want to show you 3 easy ways to get started with your Genius. If somebody would like to volunteer, if you'd like to have a scan, then we'll take the volunteer. If not, we're just going to utilize 1 or 2 folks that I know are willing to be scanned offline. But if you'd like to be scanned in real time, then please put your date of birth into the chat area. So we do have some handouts available. We have our 3 basic processes, so you can download that from the blog. And we're going to be talking about these. All right, and then we also have another one, which is our 30 quick processes. So if you've never seen this one, this is a great resource. And it gives you some processes that you can get started with. So you can do things like detox, immune support, work on bloating, microcirculation, all of these things here in our process list. So that may be something that you want to check out. What we really try to do with the Genius, what we're doing in our sort of our spare time here, They're trying to develop as many resources and tools for you to learn the genius quickly and confidently. So that's what we're really here to do. We're here to take your questions today. So please put your questions into the chat. Now, I haven't been able to put it on the events calendar, but next week, Wednesday at noon. So let's see, today, so it's going to be the 26th. It's going to be someplace, let's see how far it is into March. I can't say that. Let me just see if I can find it here, find the date for us. We're going to have a remedy plate class. So let's see where we are. That is going to be May 3rd. On the 3rd of May at noon, I will have a link. I don't have a link for you right now, but I will have a link soon. We'll have a class all about the remedy plates, all the different plates, how you get started. So I will also have some specials on remedy plates. We have some new remedy plates. We have some new things to imprint things to. So we'll have all of that information for you for next Wednesday at noon Pacific time. So we'll have a link for you in the newsletter that will go out later today. If you go to our events page, you can look at all the events coming up, and we will post that remedy plate class. This week we have terahertz training coming up. We have the podcast on Thursday. It's not Dr. Morse, but we'll go ahead and we'll change that. We did have Dr. Morse last week, but we'll be talking really about current events and doing some advanced genius scans. Terahertz training, if you just want to learn about the terahertz, we actually have a little terahertz book that you can get for free when you come to the live class. So you can learn all about what terahertz is and how to get started. So come and hang out with us on Tuesday evening. And that's 4 o'clock Pacific time, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's go to some of your questions. And let's see what we've got here. All right, thank you everybody. Very, very nice to have you here. And Lori says, when you have a client who has a Quanta capsule and wants to take a break, do you keep their Quanta cap active? Yes, Lori, you can't really take a break. So that's a really good question. They can take a break, but we don't really take a break from their access. Right now, you can delete and restore Quanta capsule access, but if it's being abused, that ability will be eliminated. The rule of thumb is when somebody purchases, and you should put this on your website everywhere, when someone purchases a Quanta capsule, it is non-refundable. It's non-refundable. They don't get to use it for a while, and then we can restore that credit. And if anybody gets caught doing that, that could, that's going to be problematic, and it's going to take away the privilege for everyone. So the best practice is every single person that gets a capsule, they can't return it after. They could, 14 days or 30 days, you could probably work with that, but you want to tell them in advance that it is a non-refundable product. Now, when they are not getting frequencies, they can use the capsule. They are welcome to use the capsule for solfeggios and chakras. So they can utilize that. It's not the same as getting personalized frequencies. And that's important to tell them. Hopefully you have enough of a rapport with the person where they wouldn't feel like substituting the chakras or the solfeggios that are sort of in there as a stock frequency would be equal to that. That's not equal to you scanning their voice and picture and coming up with personalized frequencies. And on top of everything else, they get you. You want to make sure that you are part of the equation. You're not just an automaton testing them for reds and blues, that you also participate. You email them, you tell them what you're thinking. You get to meet with them once a month on a Zoom. They're getting the intention and the desire from you that you want to help them to heal. And you even have that intention. You're holding the intention that you want them to get better. And even that has a lot of value. There's a lot of value in the therapeutic relationship. All right. I'm in the library discount club. Where can I view last week's training and download the handout? So Marjorie, go to geniusbiofeedbacktraining.com, geniusbiofeedbacktraining.com, log in. If you're not sure, then send a message to support@geniusbiofeedback.com. Please go over how to convert someone from the free QuantiCap trial to a subscriber. Okay, we could definitely look at that. Okay, they can still use their free solfeggios, yep. They will be coming back after 30 days. That doesn't matter, they just keep, there's nothing you need to do. They can come back after 30 days, but there's nothing that you need to do. You just hold their activation open, just like you would anyone. Anybody can take a break from their QuantiCapsule subscription, but we don't refund them the QuantiCapsule that they purchased. They've already used it. So why would we refund it? That doesn't make any sense. It isn't a rental. It's just like any other app that you would purchase in the App Store. You wouldn't sort of use it for a while and expect a refund. So, but those are good questions. Those definitely appreciate those questions. So congratulations to everybody who got the QuantiCapsule deals. It's such a great deal that we had. We're holding it over for one more day today, but after today, it will be off the website. So if you go to geniusbiofeedback.com, shop QuantiCapsules, you can get QuantiCapsules at a 30 to 50% discount. It is going away after today, and I know a lot of people got capsules, so we can talk a bit about the QuantiCapsule and how to do the activation. Now, we did do that last week. We did it, I think really well, and you can go back and refer to that training as well, but we can briefly look at the activation. But I really want to talk to you about how to get started for anybody who's new. They're going to come back to this video and look at this video. And so your best basic questions, if anybody on here is new to our community or you're seeing this video, we really want to help you in whatever way we can to be extremely successful with your genius. And, how do you get started? What do you do? So we want people to feel really confident. Now, I am going to assume for this particular lecture that you already know how to record the voice and the picture. So I'm going to assume you already know how to record the voice and the picture. And I'm going to assume one more thing, that you know how to get into your Genius and do the initial scan. So we just trying to make this as easy as possible. It is not difficult to get started with your Genius. You learn how to record the voice, you learn how to take the picture. We show that all in our training. When you come to this, I think this is where people get confused. And that's why we've come up with the basic processes. So the basic processes are meant to be this, sort of thing that you can depend on, that you can lean into, and you just Okay, hello everybody, and thanks for hanging in there. Well, we had a transformer explosion in Portland. Something blew up. There was a big boom, and there was some type of a transformer disruption or something. So thanks for hanging in there. Let me make sure I record this again. Yeah, so we'll get up and running. And yeah, I was just saying that, we want to demystify this as much as possible. And so what we want to do is go over those basic processes and then, ask me your questions, or if you're one of our old timers, people have been doing this for a long time, maybe you want to say your tips for getting started as well. So what are your tips for getting started, and what do you, usually do to make it easier for you? So we're going to talk about this, and we'll talk about you're brand new, you're, welcome to our community, and there's lots and lots of features on the Genius. It's like, where do you get started? You do not need to be a health practitioner. You do not need to be a healer. Do not need a medical degree. You just need to have the desire to work with the Genius. The Genius is not that hard. When you are working with the Genius initially, you're like, think of yourself as a technician. You're a technician learning to identify the red and blue items on the Genius. That's all you need to do. You don't need to do anything else. The voice does everything. The voice in the picture checks that person to see what reds and blues they need for today. Those are the things that they're most needing to nourish their field. They're the things that they most need in order to come back into balance. So how can we help that person? By giving them the perfect homeopathic, the perfect energy, the perfect energetic nourishment, the perfect encoded information. That's all we want to do, either by playing the frequencies for them or by sending it to them, either in the quantum, mostly in the quantum capsule, where they get to play those frequencies over and over. We want everyone who desires to use the Genius to use it in a very simple, easy to understand way in the beginning. It's not that difficult to learn. We want everybody who wants to learn the Genius to use it each and every day with ease. So there's a number of different things that were built into the Genius over the years to make that possible. And one of the most important features is the quick balance function. That means you could go to anything that you want to look at in system overview and easily balance today without adding anything to the trays. So if you went here and you said, I just want to do a nutritional tune-up, I only want to work on vitamins, you can just go to vitamins, and then you can just tap quick balance at the bottom. This is so frustrating. I don't, is anybody else getting switched animations where you're working with one client of a certain, the gender, and then the gender switches from female to male? It'd be good to let the developer know that. I don't know why that's happening. It just switched in the middle of the session. So I don't know why that's happening, but let's see if we can rectify it. Yeah, there we go. Now it's working. And anytime you do have an issue, most issues can be resolved by just either starting over, or sometimes just loading on the newest version. So let's go ahead to vitamins, and we do see that female animation there. And then the quick balance function is at the bottom here. So let's look at this here with the spotlight. Okay, and then we go right here. So here's the quick balance function at the bottom. Quick balance means that anything on the page, we will balance the reds and the blues. So here are the reds, and there's some blues down here. So when we tap quick balance, then it will balance all those reds and blues without us having to add anything to the tray. The timer for the quick balance is this green ball right here. So when we move the ball up and down, it changes the duration. So if we move it all the way up here, we can see minute 1 minute, and then we can go ahead and we can balance it for 1 minute. So right now we're playing some different tones. Let's just go ahead and adjust the tones from frequency, shape, and form. Let's go to active sonic signature, and let's just choose our chimes and bells only. Let's see what that yields. It's interesting, isn't it? Let's stop it one more time. And I think the original that most people go with is the default. So yeah, let's go with the original here. So we've got the default sound generator and we go to quick balance, and now it's balancing everything, the reds and the blues on the page. So for if you're new and you want to know how to get started, or if sometimes you're tired, you're confused, you don't know what to put together, then just go ahead and use that quick balance. You could use it for any screen in System Overview or even in the custom libraries. So let's go ahead, we'll stop it for a moment, and we could, again, anything on here, body systems, we could do quick balance. And we could even do the entire reds and blues for just the screen that's being shown here. So if you're brand new, you could do, all you have to do is arrive at System Overview, do the scan, begin analysis, and then just do the quick balance. You just do the quick balance and you're ready to go. So those are several ways that you could get started really, really easily, where you don't have to add anything to the trays. And we really want you to take advantage of this. I really don't want anybody who ends up being confused or doesn't know how to get started, when there's so many easy ways that you can get started. And the number one quick way really is that quick balance function. Now, the number two way would be to follow our basic processes, or maybe we'll go to the general overview to explain the number two way, and then we'll go to the basic processes. So the number two way would be our general overview. So in our general overview, we tap one time, and then we go to, why is it telling me that we have to do a total scan first? I believe we've already done a scan. Okay, I know. I guess we have to scan the custom libraries to do this. Has anybody seen that demarcation where now you can't do a general scan until you've done a custom library scan? I haven't seen that before, but we'll go ahead and we'll do that. So we'll have to scan our custom libraries first, which takes a little bit away from how easy it should be. But let's go ahead and see if we can go to our general overview. Okay, general overview now is there, which is organizing everything from top to bottom and showing us our highs and our lows. And this is going to include all the custom libraries. So now we're very, very new. We don't know what to do. So we're going to go down here to the plus sign, and we're going to choose the top 50 items and then the lower 50 items. And then we're going to have 100 items in here, and we're simply going to go to Progressive Insights. And just to make it super simple so that we don't even have to think about it, we could just simply choose all the items. So we won't, wheatgrass, that's interesting. So just all of the items, okay? So we're just going to choose all the items, and we could run it for 15 minutes, or we could run it for 1 minute above. Here's the timer right here. And that's all we need to do. So far, we have figured out that in a very short amount of time, we could just run things on quick balance. Then we know how to get started. We don't have to think about anything. We don't even have to add things to the tray. Or we could actually just go to general overview and choose the top 50 and then the lower 50. And if we do that, we could put into Progressive Insights, run it all. We don't even have to think high, medium, low. And that's another way to get started. Both of these methods are completely legitimate. The way that you get better is you start to think in a more organized fashion about which ones you would like to choose, about which items you would like to choose, about which things you'd like to focus on, about which areas you'd like to send energy to. And that is something that's nuanced that you can utilize over time. But to begin with, you really can just use the quick balance and then the general overview, and then 1, 2, or 3 of these basic processes. See, great response and 50% rectification, and that's it. You could even do 15 minutes of balancing. You could export these to your Quanta capsule. Now, I want to do the basic process for you in just a moment, but for now, let's answer Kathy's question. Kathy wanted to know about the Quanta capsule. So I'm going to just jump in the middle here to the Quanta capsule, and we go to something called the Quanta membership, or the Quanta dashboard. And so the Quanta dashboard, okay, so The Quanta dashboard, on the Quanta dashboard, you may have somebody, the only way that they can really get on a trial is to download the trial from the App Store or the Google Play Store. Now, if they've downloaded the trial, what you can do is you actually just go to My Members and then add a member. So you add them as a member, and then you just put their name and email in. So putting their name and email in should issue them a full activation. If you're not finding this to be the case, then definitely let me know or send a message, support@geniusbiofeedback.com. So whether they have an account or they don't have an account, either way, adding the member should pull a credit from your memberships and activate it, whether they're on the trial or whether they're brand new. So Kathy, I hope that that answers your question. Before we move into the basic process, let's answer some of your other questions. So, all right, so let's go ahead and go to now I missed some of the comments here. Okay. Where can I find the recording of the 528 podcast? I believe we've posted the Robert Morse one to YouTube. So, we'll have to get a BitChute account or something. Marie, I'm really sorry that France is blocking rumble.com. That's unfortunate. But Dr. Morse is on YouTube as far as I know. So go to my YouTube channel. I have a question about progressive insights. How do you interpret high, medium, and low? How do they relate to red, yellow, green, and blue? It's good that you're asking this, Janine, because I always assume that people actually already know this. So let's go back to some of the basics. And this is a great forum since we're talking about basic processes. Recently, we just did the general overview. We put the high items, the highest red and the lowest blue from general overview. We put them into the tray and we hit the play button here. When we hit the play button, it takes us to a screen called Progressive Insights. The purpose of Progressive Insights is for us to do a retest, to reorganize information that we tested in the system overview or in the custom libraries and gathered up in the main hold tray to rescan them for prioritization. So when we've rescanned them for prioritization, we've learned something new. We've learned that, wow, wheatgrass is really being drawn to this person more than all of these other 99 items. And so we've come to a new conclusion cognitively that's interesting. The reason that the developer placed red, yellow, high, medium, and low into the progressive insights was one, for the purpose of that prioritization, but to encourage you to focus your energy and the client's energy on the high items. There is something called the Pareto principle or the 80-20 principle. That means of anything that you're doing, there'll be a 20% of what you're doing that will get 80% of the results. So it's very likely that a small amount of the frequencies are the ones, when you play them, they will have the greatest impact. Now you may say to yourself, well, who cares? Why not just run 50, 100, 300, 1,000 frequencies for somebody at once? Who cares? Because there are strategies to running frequency, and all frequency in the Genius is encoded information. And you're asking that person to take in the information and process it in some way. Now, it's not really on the conscious level. It goes to their innate intelligence. At the same time, I really feel it's better. Less is always more. Fewer frequencies are always better. So I like to distill it down. I like to use the top frequencies. But what the developer had actually done in the case where you run all the frequencies is, as it plays in a loop, it emphasizes and spends more time on all the items that are listed as high. And it does this in sort of a 3-2-1. So if you think about it as being like a music that's written on paper, it would be 3 beats. So it lasts for 3 beats on the high items, and then it lasts for 2 beats on the medium items, and then it lasts for 1 beat on the low items. So it spends less time balancing the low items and more time balancing the high items. I, further add to this, endeavor by often only choosing the high items. I really don't want to spend any time on the medium and low items because I feel that the client will have a better effect if we focus on these high priority items and let them give all their energy to that effort. This is a personal preference. You decide which which approach you would like to take. So high, medium, and low in Progressive Insights has a different meaning than high, medium, and low, or red, yellow, blue, and green in the main part of the program. So let's go back there for a moment. In this part of the program, reds and blues show us the highs and lows of the client results. The high and low of the client results are called reactive items. Those are the items that the person, it's like their innate intelligence is saying, please balance these items for me today. Please balance these items for me today. These are the ones that I want. I want to focus on this energy around the glands. I want to focus on this energy around sensitivities, around amino acids, around digestion. Just from a numerical perspective, it's just the numbers or the energy within that frequency is something that the person wants, is something that the person could benefit from. But, you know, having a human brain, we instantly want to take that and interpret it further. But that isn't really the pure interpretation. There's just something in this frequency right here that that person needs at that time. Now, if we go and we tap on digestion, we look at it. This is a very good example. Let's look for one that will help us a little bit more. Let's go to maybe glands. Okay. So in glands, we want to interpret it further. And so we want to say like, oh, it looks like something's wrong with their hypothalamus. But please understand, that's not really what the genius is saying in its pure form. It's just saying that today, this person needs the energetics of whatever frequencies have been written into this one line item, which could be multiple frequencies. And in system overview, it's a collection of frequencies that's been written into, when you tap on the hypothalamus, it plays maybe 6 or 8 frequencies. And for some reason, that person's energy is drawn to that hypothalamus energetic. And so we don't know if we can really infer, well, their hypothalamus is out of balance. Now, a lot of times that does prove to be true. We know because we've asked people sort of their symptoms and different things over the years, and it really matches what would be red or blue. It does seem to indicate a remedy that they need or something that's probably out of balance. So hopefully that makes sense about just the interpretation. And hopefully we answered the question for Janine. But just to go a little bit further, the red is reactive, the blue is reactive, green and yellow are really considered to be equivalent. Why they were given 2 colors, I'm actually not really clear, except that yellow is closer to high, green is closer to low. We do then break things down a little bit more for the advanced practitioner, where we do say that we're interested energetically in things that are above 600 and below 200. So it wouldn't be uncommon if you were having a session with me that where I would say, well, let's go ahead for this particular library and include everything that is, oops, I don't know what I did there. But we want to include everything that's red, everything that's red, everything that's blue. But in addition, what I want to do is choose all of the items that are actually above 600. So all these items that are above 600, I'm going to choose them and I'm going to add them. But they all represent, they're all meant to represent things that are reactive, things in the biofield that need to be adjusted, or these frequencies that would be the most beneficial for that person today. So that's what red, yellow, green, and blue means in the main part of the program. All right, so the Quantum Capsule discount, you don't need a coupon code or anything. Just go to geniusbiofeedback.com, go to the shop menu, Ayana, and then drop down and go to shop Quanta Capsules, and all the discounts there already calculated from everything that you see in your, every day for Quanta Capsules, where there is as much as $52 for 10 of them. They've been deeply discounted where you're going to get them for something like $39, $29, and even lower than that, depending on which quantity you purchase them in. All right. I love the updated version of the general overview for a quick scan. Yeah, it makes everything easier with that top 50 and lower 50, Missy. That's great. If they don't buy after 14 days, we are minus a credit. No, Araya, I'm so sorry that that's not clear for you. So we don't issue them. They only go to the App Store to load the 14-day trial. They only go to the App Store to load their trial. You should not be doing anything from your Quantum membership to authorize them on the Quanta capsule until they're clear they want to purchase. So you don't issue a trial from your Quantum membership. Perhaps that'll be available in the future. You're only doing this when they're able to make a commitment and you're authorizing a permanent purchase of their capsule. All right, so then let's see if we have here. Okay, so yeah, keep your questions coming. Now, going back to this basic process, what we've given you here, and we hope to write some more, are just some of the most basic processes that you could do and what you would do in step-by-step order. So in step-by-step order, you would basically start with the aura. You'd start looking at the aura picture. So if you're new or you're confused or you've always wanted to use the Genius, you come to these classes, you're still not sure, get this download and keep it right in front of you and you just follow down the list. And you could try them, maybe you try a different process every day. There are just 3 processes here for you to do. And you just follow each step by step. Very, very simple. So everybody who's here, we're going over a very basic concept, but if you have an advanced question, you're welcome to ask it today. Well, what a beautiful aura, very filled with a vibrant energy, very high chakra energy, and a beautiful white yellow ring around there indicating a nice strong 3rd chakra energy. So this looks very, very good. Now let's go to the assessments here. So basic assessment 1, it's general. Use it for anybody. Anybody could get this one. You have a new client, you want to work on yourself. Just don't get confused. Don't get overwhelmed. We're not going to be using the reds and blues on the system overview. You're absolutely welcome to ignore them. You don't need to follow them. You don't need to go by them. You just want to sit here, system overview, just follow this. Today's stress. We're going to go to today's stress. Doesn't matter if it's not red or blue. You can disregard that at any time. These are just guideposts along the way. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take all of these items right here and we're going to place them into the system overview. So let's go ahead and let's clear these. So we're going to get the red items and then we're going to get the blue items. All right, so now the red and blue items, and I should say that I'm using the bulk drag function, and that will basically grab, it's like a grabber that grabs all the red items at one time to save you time. And then it grabs all the blue items at one time to save you time. And you put them into the bottom tray, which is called our main hole tray. We're going to close the tray right here, and then we're going to go to the next item on the list. So using the Genius can be very easy. It doesn't have to be confusing. You just have to follow along with the steps. So if we go to body systems, now we're in body systems. We're not even really interpreting it all. We're just choosing. We're like a technician. All we need to do is find the reds and blues for the client, and we can be successful. The client can be successful. You can work on yourself with this. You can work on your children. You can work on your parents, all of these things. Very simple. Just follow the bouncing ball. So body systems, we're going to choose our red items and choose our blue items. Then we're going to go back to system overview. We're going to choose our organs. We're going to go to organs. We're going to choose our red items and we're going to choose our blue items. Now there's no blue item here. So if we wanted to, we could grab these items that are under 200 and place them in the tray. You're always welcome to do that. And you're probably going to be hitting some good reactive items. Then we're going to go to glands. We're simply going to pick pick the glands from here, the gland frequencies, red items, and then we've got a few items here that are below 200. So let's include those. Just keep working our way down the list. We go to digestion, and we don't know what we're doing yet. We don't even know why we're doing it, but we're doing this as a rote practice. so that we don't feel overwhelmed when we go into the Genius. We don't feel overwhelmed by everything we need to learn. We're simply going to follow one thing after another after another. Now we go to digestion, because most people, their digestive system needs help and support. And also digestion is connected with all other illnesses or disorders, whether it's sleep issues or pain in the body. A lot of things can come back to the digestive system. So we come in here. Now there's no reds or blues. So what I would do is I don't ignore this. I pull down manually the items right here and the items right here that are below 200. So this is not a perfect system, but you should at least know that you have the opportunity to, oh, it's weird. Didn't seem to add one. Let's try this one. There we go. Okay. Anyway, add items that are at 200, close to 200, or below 200. Just didn't look like it added that item. So then flower essences, let's go to flower essences, which is in the mind, and you're adding the emotional healing element to your scan for the day. We are all driven by emotion. There are emotions that get out of balance, there are emotions that get blocked, and those contribute to all the physical ailments that people experience. So now what we're going to do is we're going to choose the reds, we're going to choose the blues, and we're going to have the red and blue items in the tray. All right. So this process gives a great overview for physical issues. You want to look at all the patterns, use the success cards for greater insight. I think we have them here. If you got a lower package, make sure you check out geniusbiofeedback.com. Get your success cards. Your desk reference success cards help you to really understand the Genius, and they come with a binder ring. You just keep them on the top of your desk, and you're quickly looking up today's stress, or quickly looking up the flower essences so that you can understand the meaning and you're not lost, right? Because that's another thing that people say is like, well, I don't understand what the items mean. Well, you can have your mastery guide, which comes with every package that we have from starter and up. And then everything from upgraded and up includes our desk reference success cards. And people swear by them. They keep them close really for years going back. And even I go back to them every session, look at those flower essences or look at the things I need help interpreting. So then we choose the red items once again from flower essences, and we choose the blue items right here. And now we're going to go, we have 33 items in the tray. That's enough to do a balancing session. Now we're going to begin the analysis. We're going to learn which ones rise up to the tippy top. And we're doing it. We're doing it. We're learning the Genius. We know the Genius. We can be successful with the Genius. We don't need any other degrees, but this is a way to get started. And every person should feel like they can get started with success. No one should be overwhelmed or not able to use the Genius. Just come to us for assistance. We have lots of handouts and tutorials and be more than happy to help you. So in this particular case, we'll just go ahead and pull all of them, and we'll set our timer. We can set our timer from 1 minute all the way up to 30 minutes, and we'll go ahead and just do 1 minute. And now we just play those frequencies. We're done. Setting up the basic number one, or basic process number one, might take you 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the most. So everybody can use the Genius. Everybody can get started with the Genius. These are 3 easy ways to get started. So you're going to use the quick balance, the general overview, and the 3 basic processes. So it's either just hit the quick balance, you're already using it, you're balancing it, or you go to general overview and you're using that awesome top 50, lower 50, or you're going and you're choosing one of these basic processes, following the step-by-step guide, and you are ready to roll. Okay, can we send them frequencies with their 2-week trial? You sure can. You're going to have to be the trainer. You're going to have to show them, hey, I'm going to give you this 14 days. You're going to use it, see if you like it. And so you need to show them the links. Now we've gathered up the links at geniusbiofeedback.com. See that? They've got a great experience just from those frequencies. And so if you go to geniusbiofeedback.com and you go to that reinstall links, so Missy, what you're going to want to do is bookmark. I'm going to go get them right now. You're going to bookmark those links. And when you bookmark the links, then you're going to be able to send them. Maybe you're going to create a document or an email, an automated email that you could send from MailChimp, or in the business membership, we teach about ConvertKit. And so you send them an email that says, hey, I want you to do the trial. And here's exactly how to download that trial. So we're going to go to the Learn menu at geniusbiofeedback.com. And when we go to this Learn menu, we pull down the reinstall links. And with the reinstall links, a little hard to do this with both, but we basically scroll down here. Let's do this here. And we find all of the links for the Quanta capsule. So we go to the Quanta capsule, which is right here somewhere. And here it is. So we would get this link, right? So you would take this link and you're going to put it in a document that you can send to your client. And it's a marketing document where you say, hey, who wants to get some fun frequencies for 14 days? Maybe you create a group and you send everybody the same frequencies. We've had that be really successful for people. And then you want to make sure you include the one that is for the Play Store. So you go to Learn, you go to the reinstall links, which is here. And then we go back and we find the one for the Google Play Store, the Android version. We want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to participate. So now we're going to bookmark the one for the Play Store. And we send it out in a marketing email. Hey, do you want to be part of my group? I'm doing one to boost the immune system. Anybody can come, and for 14 days, you can get these free frequencies. And that's how you get people added to your mailing list. You get their email address, you get them to participate, you get them to learn how fun this is. Also, you get them to understand what it is that you're doing, what exactly is it that's going on here now. They're getting frequencies. Maybe you send them a little tutorial to teach them all about what this is and what it can do for them. So then they have that for 14 days. And yes, you can absolutely send them frequencies. You could send them during their 14 days. You could send them frequencies every day. You could send them multiple playlists, whatever you want to do. And you could be charging them for that. Just because they're on the 14-day trial doesn't mean you can't charge them for the export. You get to decide whether this is also a free trial for them to receive frequencies. Maybe it is, which is fine. Whatever thing you need to do to secure that person as a permanent client. People do business with people that they know, like, and trust, and they have to get over the learning curve of understanding what the genius is and why it might work for them. So a trial where they get to see it, feel it, experience it themselves is very, very wise. When you do a 14-day trial, one thing we're reviewing in the business membership are methods to set up 14-day trials with subscription services. These subscription services, you can create a link, a landing page with these services, and they allow you to program it for the amount of days that you want to trial. So if somebody says, I want frequencies for 14 days, we say, well, yes, we'd love to, but we're going to need your credit card. So you don't really say that to them, but you want to make sure you secure their credit card, because they're not just going to get it for 14 days. They'll get it for 14 days and they'll get a warning, hey, we're going to charge your card the next day. And they can either opt in or cancel and opt out. Not everybody will opt out. Okay, but we want to have some exchange of value for the work that you're doing. So you want to make sure you get them on a 14-day trial, and you can do this with a subscription program. We discussed this in our business membership, exactly how to do in the business membership, exactly how to do that, and actually sets up a landing page that you can email them the link for, and it will not charge them for 14 days. They can cancel at any time, but then they have a little bit more skin in the game. They're making a little bit more of a commitment, and that makes it worth your time. If we pull, say, vitamins into the tray, are the detailed items under vitamins worked on? I hope this is clear. Yeah, you guys, I'm going to ask you to send feedback to the developer. Let me explain exactly what the setup is on this, and you can decide what you want to tell the developer. So the developer and I had a discussion. Basically, I gave my feedback, and he really said that more people in the community want this the way that he has set it up. So I want you to decide what you think. So if you choose vitamins, it used to just be sort of a composite frequency. If you pulled it down, sort of a series of frequencies that could represent all, what you would get from running the vitamin frequency. But now what you do is if you pull down vitamins, you're going to get every element that's in the vitamin panel. So let's look at that together. So if you pull down vitamins, it's going to actually pull down every vitamin that's in the panel. Now, there's sometimes you might want that. the whole point of biofeedback is to run the reds and blue items, which are determined by an analysis of the voice and the picture. So why do we want a default mechanism that puts all the vitamins in the tray? What this functionality should do when we press on it is pull down the red and blue items in the vitamin panel. Now, if you agree with that, then let the developer know, gosh, that's not a biofeedback function. That's just a lumpy, put all the vitamins in the tray function. We could do that easily with our bulk drag and drop function. Why is it putting all the items in there? So if we go to Spinal Energies, could put every item from Spinal Energy in there. Is that what we do as a biofeedback practitioner? I don't think that really serves the purpose. So, you certainly could provide your feedback, but that is the function at this time. As you choose this, if you bring it in here, it's going to bring every item from chemical sensitivities into the tray. Where are the links for the mini course and the free trial? Okay, let's talk about that. If you have somebody who wants to go on the free trial, the best practice, there's a couple of really good links that you should know about. And when you have a moment, it's good to maybe just take a moment to look at geniusbiofeedback.com and just see what we actually have here on the website. We have a menu item called Start Here. Start Here. It's very, very helpful. If you click on Start Here, this is a wonderful link that really just helps people to get oriented. It's very overwhelming. We know that. We have libraries, we have packages, but if you send them this link, this gives them the opportunity to learn all about what the Genius is, who can use it, how do I learn the basics. It has all types of downloads and links that they can go to, and it tells them about the most basic package and things like that. Now, if they want to sign up for the 14-day trial, that link is actually on this page. So if they go down here, then they can sign up. But let me show you another link that is similar to this one, which is also on this menu. So if you want to refer someone, you want them to do the 14-day trial, and you want to get credit for it, like you'd like to get a commission for it, then all you need to do is follow these instructions. You go to geniusbiofeedback.com. You click on the 14 days, sign up for 14 days. Let's look at that again. It says 14-day trial download. Doing the loop-de-loop here. So the 14-day free download. 14-day free download brings you to this link, and then you basically send them this exact link. When they fill out the link, make sure they put who shared the Genius with you. We review all of that information, and we even ask them, was there somebody that shared it? And we really super ask them, well, I kind of remember, well, what was their last name? We would do everything we can to get your credit to you for that commission, but make sure they put it in here, and that will be that, and you will be credited for the connection. It's the more reliable one because it's right there in black and white, and it was easy for them to put your name in this box. Just make sure you say, like, they like to thank me, they give me credit, they really appreciate it when somebody shares it. Could you just remember to put your name into the box? And most people actually do. Okay, you want to purchase another license. So what a license is really, we probably have misnomered that. It's another access. And so if you have a Genius, it gives you on the starter and the upgraded, it gives you one access. That means you could use it on one device. The only way you can change that is by logging out on one device and logging into another one. Now, if you have the Elite, the Master Elite, or the Master Elite Plus, then you have access on two devices, meaning like a phone and an iPad. So then you can use it on two devices. Now, if you want another device, because maybe your practice is growing and you want to get another iPad and run another client at the same time, then you just go to geniusbiofeedback.com and put into the search box additional access. We're trying to not call them license because it's super confusing. I do that all the time by mistake, but we call it an additional access. Anybody who owns any form of the Genius, the basics, the starter complete, the Master Elite, whatever it might be, you can purchase an additional access. Now, we really max out the accesses at a certain number. You can contact me for the number. So we want to make sure all accesses must be in your use. So you must be using those accesses. If you use them in your practice, that's perfectly fine. Hopefully that answers that question. And let's see if there are any other questions about what we're doing here. I might have missed your question because we had the transformer explode. So if you have any final burning questions for today or ones that I didn't answer, be sure to put them into the chat or the QA, and we'll get to them. We just have a few minutes left. So let's see if there's any other questions that you guys have, but let's just talk about this. When you go to this, you can find the other processes. So we have 2 other processes, and one is for physical pain, inflammation, aches and pains, injury, and that one is right here. So let's talk about it. Let's go ahead and we're going to clear out that tray. So we go to clear all, it clears out the tray. And then we go back here. We would do our aura. Let's assume we've already done that because we did it before. We go to spinal energy, spinal energy. So all of the spinal nerves, what those spinal nerves do is they innervate organs, muscles, and glands. And so balancing them balances the nervous system, is going to help with any injuries, is going to help with anybody who has like spine that's out of alignment. And so we just add the reds and the blues to the tray for that. Then we go to, oh, sorry, I skipped today's stress. So we would put today's stress in before we did the spinal energy, same thing, red and blue. Then we go to neurotransmitters. See, neurotransmitters, those are chemical messengers produced by the brain that could help us to feel maybe that we're depressed, we're in a good mood, we have more pain, we have less pain. So we want to incorporate the neurotransmitters. So same thing, we would do the reds and the blues. Let's go ahead and we could do some of the yellows there, incorporate that. Then we would go down here to brain anatomy. So brain anatomy is also going to deal with issues of pain, feeling good, maybe help to modulate inflammation. So we're going to do brain anatomy. So we're going to put those into the tray as well. Here I would probably pick up some yellows and greens because there's not a lot of reds and blues. And then we've got, once again, we've got digestion. So you know about that one. And then we've got nausées. Nausées are really, really good when you're working on issues of pain, physical injury, anything very physical. You know, a lot of our practitioners will incorporate nausées in every single session that they do, and they really swear by them. And nausea G is right and left side of the brain balance. And so that's interesting that it's so low for this particular person. Okay, and so flower essences, once again, getting in the emotional aspect of the session. Okay, this is super simple. Anybody could do it. Nobody needs to be a very specialized practitioner or have a health background or be an acupuncturist or anything. We just choose all the items, we set it for maybe 15 minutes, and away we go. This is how you've set up your session. So we've really talked about 3 different ways of setting up a session. We talked about the quick balance. So when you're in system overview, you could take any item you want. Maybe just for the day, you take 3. Just choose 3 that you want, 3 that you like. I want to work on my nutrition. So I'm going to choose vitamins, minerals, and amino acids. And you just set that timer. Maybe it's 1 minute on vitamins. And then it's 1 minute on minerals. I said miracles. 1 minute on minerals. And then it's 1 minute on amino acids. And you hit the quick balance each time, and then you're done. Maybe do 5 minutes for each one. Quick balance. When you don't know what to do, just put things on quick balance. That's why the quick balance function is there. When you're too tired to think about your session, just run everything on quick balance. Now, the second one that we talked about was the general overview. So when you go to general overview, you can easily pull the top 50 or the lower 50. Now, a little nuance on that. What you could do, there's a little nuance on it. So the last minute here, those of you who stayed to the end, let's get the little nuance, is you could remove the custom libraries. So remove library means we're removing the custom libraries. And now we only have items that are in the system overview. So sometimes you want to do that. Sometimes you just want to focus on the highs and lows in system overview. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the top 50 and then we're going to take the lower 50 that are in system overview. And same thing, we're going to take it into our progressive insights, and we could run all of them, or we could run the high items. We can view the high items. We can see what we want to do. So there's the high items, and we can play that for a minute, 15 minutes. Sort of the final tip of the day is a reminder, or maybe new information, that anytime you turn a timer down to 0, it will run on infinite loop. It will keep running until you turn it off or there's no power left. So make sure you plug it in. If this is something, maybe you're working on something very, very urgent. Maybe you're working on something that feels that you need to conquer it quickly, or you really need that extra attention, you need that extra energy, then turn the timer down to 0, plug it in, and you could run it all night and receive the frequencies. We really feel that frequencies are best used in a sort of a short push, 15 or 20 minutes at a time, then take a break, run them in the evening or run them the next day. But there are times when I've just run it and run it and run it for somebody who urgently needed assistance. And so that's another way to do things. This training has been all about 3 easy ways to get started with the Genius. No one should ever be confused. There are easy ways that you can get started. You feel just as good about doing a session as somebody who's very, very advanced, and you can still get great, great results. If you have any questions, please email me, Ariel at geniusbiofeedback.com. We're here every week. Please invite friends to come hang out for our Monday training, or watch it on YouTube under Ariel Policano at my YouTube channel. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Take care. Be well. Bye-bye for now. Thanks again for hanging out.